I was kind of trying to avoid doing this video, as so many other YouTubers have already covered this news. But as I sit here watching the leaks and rumours coming in across the fandom day by day, I finally find myself wanting to have my say on it all. With the total abomination that was the Jodie and Chibnall era, and the devastating destruction of Lore, I've spent the last 5 odd years completely avoiding this ridiculous mess and resigning myself to the belief that Doctor Who was done. The dissatisfaction with what was once a beloved childhood passion to now nothing more than a shameful embarrassment, and something I would rather see and hear about reenacted by other YouTubers and their reviews. Sickened by what I witnessed as the show I once dearly loved was slowly murdered before all of our eyes. Then, as the failed tenure of Jodie and Chibnall comes to a close, we finally got the news of a transfer of the franchise control to Bad Wolf and Sony, and the return of Russell T Davies. This was something of a surprise to me and intrigued me a little. Still, with a hell of a lot of doubt in my heart, I waited patiently for more emerging information, wondering to myself, could he really turn things around? Would he dare risk his career and all that he has built over the last few decades just to please this minority of disillusional fans and woke elites higher up? No, surely not. But his last time sitting in the control seat was a long time ago, and time can change a person, and as I listened and read the news of his return, I couldn't help but think about what his intentions really would be. And with every new announcement, my heart sank a little further. Then finally, after a lot of rumours and speculation, the new Doctor was announced, and a large portion of the fanbase began to praise this newcomer instantly. Many who had felt the same as me for the last 5 years, now almost like a switch had been turned on in their heads, they had immediately forgiven all that had come before at the sight of this new actor to play the Doctor. Just because they had done one thing right by returning his character to a male, they had become easily forgiving. It felt like no one was questioning anything anymore. For me, if I'm burnt by a flame once, I'm more cautious where I put my hands the second time. Yes, this was great to see, but unfortunately, I am not that forgiving anymore, and when it comes to the destruction of not only Doctor Who, but of all forms of media of late. Now, let me be clear here. As far as Ncuti Gatwa's personal sexuality, I really couldn't care less either way, as long as the person in question is a great actor and intends to portray the said character correctly and not inject their own real-life agendas into it, then I am completely fine with this. However, for the very same reasons I didn't agree with the casting of a female actor as the Doctor, I also don't agree that the Doctor should be portrayed anything other than quintessentially a white, British eccentric gentleman. Despite being an alien from another world, this crazy H.G. Wells stylized, out-of-place inventor. And yes, I get it, he's an alien who can change, but it's not about the plot and the character evolution within the show, but for me, it's more on principle and precedent. I have absolutely no objection to his place within the show, but not as the Doctor. For example, if they were to introduce another Time Lord character to a story, I would have no worries with a talented actor like himself playing it. I just feel that the Doctor and his characteristics are, as he would say, a fixed point, and under no circumstances should ever be detracted from in any form. My view has nothing to do with skin colour or sexuality, it's just a personal opinion. Okay, I think to myself, let's just keep listening to the reports and rumours and see what happens. After all, I may very well be completely wrong, and he may be very good at the role. But the feeling still remains, that apprehension, an almost lack of care anymore for whatever they will do here on in. After all, can it get any worse than it already has become? I let out a deep exhausted sigh as I read the article revealing that no original thought has occurred within the production team yet again, as we dive deeper into the abyss of trying to give what the fickle fans want rather than actually doing what is right for the show by announcing the return of David Tennant and Catherine Tate for the 60th. A companion whose story arc has long since been completed and needs no return, only giving in to potentially damaging an already perfect departure. And a Doctor that, although I truly enjoyed, seems to be the only go-to idea when searching their big bag of tricks in order to revive this and draw in the fans again. Bless him for his eagerness to not want to give up the character, but with such a vast history and potential, why do we keep getting the same obvious hooks? What do I need to say, for example? Oh, well, maybe let's say Paul McGann, or perhaps Sean Pertwee. Go on, shock us all with the return of the third proper. But alas, we simply get something that has already been done. I get that he was a popular Doctor, but can we please try to be a little original? My inner concern for where this is all going begins to gnaw at me, but with all of the fan base now bouncing around in a bubble of temporary joy, I found myself still watching on, with a tiny piece of hope, still cautiously waiting for the next piece of news, and then, there it was. Yasmin Finney, the new trans companion, to which under normal circumstances, had the world not gone completely upside down with all of its agendas, I probably wouldn't have even cared about her taking a role like this. But now, all I see is them trying to tick as many boxes as they possibly can, and at this point I now just feel like nothing has been learned, and this political and social pushing of their leftist narrative is going to continue. Was there no compromise somewhere in the middle? A place where newer sensibilities and older ones can thrive together. A place where now a lot of bitter fans can be turned around again to trust in the creation and progression of their beloved show without fear of cancellation for an opinion. And a place where the new production team can subtly introduce modern ideals without alienating the original fans in order to virtue signal to a group of people who don't even care for the product, aside from their own messaging. If they are ever to convince me to come back, spend my hard-earned cash on the merchandise, and believe in their direction of the show again, then they will have a long way to go to change my mind. They need to show me that they are once again doing this for the fans and for the love of the show and its lore, and not for political and social gain. The more the boxes are ticked, the more I refuse to watch and commit to. I only hope I'm wrong, but the evidence is telling me a different story. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like, and if you want to keep up to date with any other videos I will be doing, then I hope you'll consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. Thanks for watching.